Hello, hello, ladies. Hello, girls. This is Aunt Ebony, Ebony Phoenix, back with another episode. I hope you are enjoying this divestment series. I did this for you because I care about you and you are worth it. Please understand that you are worth it. You're worth everything. You are worth everything. And this is why I am doing this for you. Okay? I want that beautiful, lovely person in the mirror to realize just how valuable she is. So this is going to be a short one, ladies, but I need to get this one across to you. It has come to my attention that many, if not most, women derive their identity through the existence and the service to Black men, which I do not understand. Okay. However, this has been a carefully crafted thing in service to Black men and Black men only. The trauma bonding throughout the Blackistani collective is quite strong, and many Black women and girls feel that they don't deserve anything better. Well, I am here to tell you that you deserve everything. You deserve everything good in life. Never leave anything good on the table. Anything that's meant for you that's good, don't leave any of that shit on the table because you deserve good. So that brings me to our lesson for today. In this divestment series, Divestment 101, the name of this study is Divestment and a Girl's Birthright. Divestment and a Girl's Birthright. And we will link this to the difficulty in finding identity outside of the Black community. Just stick with me. This will be a short one, but I want to get some points across. Birthright. What is that anyway? Well, there's an old name for it. Bekora. That's it's spelled Bekorah. It's an old Hebrew word. And actually it came out of the whole idea of a birthright for an eldest son to inherit everything. I guess the sons inherit the earth. Well, I don't think so. Not just the sons and the daughters shall inherit the earth, okay? And inherit good things, okay? Bekora, birthright. Now, the definition is listed as it's a right of possession or privilege one has from birth, something that you have just by the favor of being born, okay? Well, let me tell you, Black girl and Black woman, you have a birthright. You have birthrights from when you were born, no matter what circumstances you were born into. Let me repeat that. No matter what circumstances you were born into, whether your parents wanted you or not, whether one parent wanted you or not, the circumstances do not matter. The circumstances do not matter. You have a birthright. And let me tell you about that birthright. Further in a definition of birthright would be a natural or moral right that is possessed. It is linked to position and inheritance, and it has its roots in Judaism. I believe that every Black girl, Black woman on this planet has a divine birthright. Let me elaborate on that, okay? Every black woman or girl on this planet has a divine birthright. Every black female on earth has a divine birthright, as is every woman on earth. However, I have to emphasize this for black women because black women have had their birthright taken away from them. They've had it stripped away. Other women have some sense of birthright. Their communities recognize some sense of birthright. The Latina community, the girls get to be a princess for a day and have quinceañeras, okay? It could be an elaborate quinceañera or a regular quinceañera or not so elaborate quinceañera. But the Latina community is telling her that she's special. There's also, rites of passage into womanhood that used to exist, like debutante balls for the wealthy women in European society. Oh, good Lord, Jane Austen, please help me, honey. But anyway, um, other communities, other cultures recognizes a woman's birthright. Now, misogynist cultures can recognize that too, but in order to live in that misogynist culture, some of the birthright must be stripped away, and we're not talking about that mess, okay? Let's say female genital mutilation, okay? That's an example. Chastity belts, that's an example. Having a woman be owned by her father and then her husband, that's a stripping away of birthright. Actually, a lot of faiths emphasize a woman's second place status to a male in the religion. That's a religion I'd run away from. Now, Christianity is an Abrahamic religion, as is Judaism and Islam. And those rules were interpreted by men. Just here to tell you. Now, women uphold those strict interpretations or very restrictive or misogynic interpretations of Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. Women uphold it, but men sat down the laws, okay? So, divine birthright. What are you talking about, Aunt Ebony? Okay, let me tell you. Divine birthright, to me, is a sacred privilege that you are born with. Even, a lot of people talk about right to life. Okay. The fetus is sacred. Well, that girl is very sacred when she gets out of that birth canal. Okay. She is the only one who has a birth canal. Okay. So she is very sacred. The minute she breathes the air into her tiny little lungs and she starts to cry, she has a birthright. She was born with birthrights, and that birthright is a divine birthright. All women are born with that divine birthright. It's a sacred privilege that you have, and that privilege is being female. That privilege is just being female in itself. Now, I know going through day to day, walking down the street, good God, it doesn't feel like it's a privilege, but it is a privilege. It's just that societies and cultures strip it away from you so that you will take poor treatment, you will tolerate poor treatment, and believe that you are not worth anything else. Well, ladies, you have a divine birthright. And let me tell you what makes up those divine birthrights. Spiritual sovereignty. That's number one. I noticed that you look on Netflix and other streaming shows and you see these cults that basically want to control the actions of its members, especially the women, so that they will have unfettered sexual access to women and girls. Nah, their spiritual sovereignty has been broken. That girl or woman has a right to decide for herself what her spiritual life is. That should never be forced on her for any reason in the world. Mental sovereignty, mental and emotional sovereignty. What do I mean by that? You know how they have a lot of teenage shows and movies where certain girls are put down and people are put down for looking different or not the norm or what people consider to be attractive or whatever. That basically harms her emotional state. That harms her emotional being. She's just beginning to be this beautiful lily of a woman, and that harms her. It harms her. She will think the worst of herself. So if things are coming from the pulpit, if things are coming from spiritual leaders breaking her spiritual sovereignty, then she will have emotional chaos inside. Am I worthy of anything? God made me second class. Man is God. Well, if man is God, then you're God too. Okay? So, number one, spiritual sovereignty. Number two, mental sovereignty. You have a right to feel good about yourself and have peace within your soul, sweetheart. You should not have anyone breaking your emotional strength down before you even become age 13. Get off the social media platforms that basically tell you that you are nothing and you're less than. And if you're an Instagram model, then you're somebody. Well, honey, you were somebody the day you breathed, the first day, when you filled those little lungs up and you let out a holler or a cry. You were worth something then, sweetheart. Marketing is shit. Marketing wants you to feel bad. Marketing wants to tell you to go buy this, buy that, and maybe you'll come up to some kind of standard, honey. You don't need marketers to tell you what you are worth. And I'm telling you now, Aunt Ebony right now, she's telling you, you were worth it the day you came out all bloody and wrinkly looking. A sweet little baby girl. Okay? The next one is bodily sovereignty. And this is where all the others come into play. The spiritual sovereignty, mental sovereignty, bodily sovereignty, because they want to break down the spiritual and the mental so they can get to your body and then pretty much discard you after you have children or after 30 or 35 or 40. It's the saddest thing. You know, during your fertile years, you are given a little bit of attention, but it's all so that somebody can invade or break your bodily sovereignty, meaning no one has a right to have sex with you unless you say yes and you want them to. Nobody should be able to cajole you into it. No person in this world has a right, mama, daddy, whoever, has a right to put their hands on you. That's physical abuse. That's physical abuse. So any breaking or any um, problems with spiritual, mental, bodily sovereignty, it's abuse. Hey, if you don't believe me, ask a whole bunch of people who are in therapy or who need it, because these sacred birthrights have been taken away. I say if someone took that away from you back so and so when, it affects you the rest of your life. If either one of these are breached, these sovereignties are breached in a girl, it affects her for the rest of her life. It affects her when she's 25 and she's looking for someone to, a companion to pair off with. You could be lesbian, gay, otherwise, whatever. It'll make it easier for her to land into a narcissistic, abusive relationship. When a girl is born, those birthrights are not to be breached or severed. A lot of our mothers breach this mental sovereignty. A lot of our fathers breach that mental sovereignty. A lot of fathers aren't even there, and that still breaches mental sovereignty. A girl has a right to stay safe and be safe and feel safe from both of her parents. Maybe you lost a parent, okay? It still affects you. It's not that parent's fault that they passed away, but the people around you should make sure that those sovereignties are still in place. There should be boundaries around what is sovereign and what is sacred. The Black collectives breaks these boundaries all the time. The Black church I've seen hurt many girls' spiritual sovereignty by calling them immoral, fast, no good, Jezebel. You got the picture. Bodily sovereignty also includes sexual wholeness. And when one of these preachers, deacons, or whoever, bishop, elder, whatever you want to call them, breaches that, that hurts. That hurts. Mental sovereignty is violated by this shunning mechanism that they do at high school and in Blackistan. They can do it in families. They can do it in the basically the Black collective saying, you're not Black enough. Who is the arbiter of what is Black and what is not? Let me tell you, no one. And your identity should not rest upon something as fickle and as arbitrary as a Black card. Because nobody has a right to give it to you and nobody has a right to take it away. So the casting out, the shunning, the nerds, the cosplayers, the gamers, that is a breach of mental sovereignty. It's wrong. So let's go through this again. Spiritual sovereignty, you need to come to your own idea of having a faith or not. You could be an atheist your whole life. That's okay. You could be agnostic your whole life. That's okay. You can be Buddhist. You can be Taoist. You can be whatever you want to be. But whatever holds you together, keeps you spiritually sound, that is your right to develop. Nobody else. People can try to impose their beliefs upon you, but you have a right to be critical. Now, like I said, Black women and girls are often denied every tenet of their birthright. And when that happens, there's no self-love. So why would somebody want to beat the self-love out of somebody? Well, we don't want you to get too cocky. What? You know, my nickname growing up was Ugly. Yeah. Family members thought it would be cute to call me that and make fun of me because I was an avid reader. I wore glasses and I didn't run around and put on cakes of makeup that the other girls were doing. If the other girls wanted to do that, I did not judge them or shame them for that. I didn't look down on them for that. But they were told to look down on me because that's not what girls do, right? Yeah. There are so many billions of different ways to be Black. You make yours and you wear it with pride, okay? Woman's birthright is basically knowing her value through her sovereignties, okay? Her sovereignties, these spiritual, mental and emotional, and bodily sovereignties, okay? Abuse makes you feel less than. When that bodily sovereignty is broken, abuse breaks that mental and emotional sovereignty. Verbal abuse. You're nothing. You're worthless. I've been told all that stuff. But what it was, they felt worthless. They felt broken. There was nothing wrong with me. But it took me a very long time to realize that. Okay? All the while going through undergraduate, getting honors in high school, going through undergraduate, getting honors in undergraduate, going through medical school, going through graduate school, all of it, going through residency, working. Every once in a while, those horrible, nasty little quips would make me doubt myself when there was nothing to doubt. So her identity, a girl's identity, is based on these sovereignties. You can't you a woman's value is in her identity as a woman who can birth life onto this earth. A man's value is in what resources he has and what he can produce. Let's say he's a great athlete. That's a part of his identity. Okay? That's not the only part of his identity. Okay? But it's not based upon, good God, something so narrow as his what he looks like. Should it just be based on his possessions? No. Should it just be based on his resources? No. But you see, men have that flexibility. A woman's value is in what she looks like to somebody's eye. And that is very restrictive, that is very narrow, and I would say that's mental and emotional abuse. What she wears. Oh, don't get assaulted. What did you wear that day? Sweats. Well, those sweats must have been real sexy, huh? Come on. You know better. And the world knows better. They are just too cowardly to make it right. So if your birthrights are taken away from you early in life, there's a reason for that, so that you will accept lesser people in your life, including males mainly. Women have tolerated this stuff for millennia and took their birthright and ignored them. They took the birthright of their daughters away at the behest of patriarchy, misogyny, and just plain old self-hate. No male person has a right to sex. Sorry. So look, we're going to talk about bodily sovereignty. No male has a right to sex. If you want some sex, go let him pay for that sex, or righty or lefty. I don't care, but no male has a right to sex with you if you say no. And if you're not interested, you ain't interested. You have a right to say no. You have a right to that. Your birthright will be challenged and breached if you accept or just let someone do that to you without some type of fight. Okay? If you are assaulted, you go to the police. You know your attacker, go to the police. You have a right to be protected. You have a right to be believed. Like I said, women have tolerated this for millennia and have even taken the birthrights of their daughters away so that they can at least get along in society. Well, what that sets you up for is a lot of abuse. It may not be physical abuse. It could be some type of exploitation. It could be sexual exploitation. It could be financial exploitation. It could be emotional exploitation. Narcissists are in abundance in this world. So, like I said, no male has a right to sex. That has to be earned. That has to be earned through trust and support and protection. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, being single is way better than being with a lesser person in your life. A male or female not worthy of you should not be in your life. This needs to be understood by age 12. Carefully, thoroughly understood by age 12. Nobody touches me unless I want them to touch me. Okay? This needs to be understood by age 12 because this is before sexual viability and adolescence. She's just burgeoning into adolescence. She should have her bodily, spiritual, emotional integrity. You have a right to be safe, ladies. You have a right to safety. You're worth that. Black women and girls almost always have their boundaries violated, always in preparation to become handmaidens for a Black collective that sees them as disposable by making them vulnerable, then watching them fall while not protecting you, and then say, gee, we're not going to protect you. You're not worthy of our protection because this, and this, and this. You're too dark, you're too fat, you do this, your hair's too nappy, da, 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 da. Here's the thing. A vessel can hold water, but when a whole bunch of thirsty people come through and drinking, who's going to refill that vessel? Beautiful women and girls, you are that vessel. They want you to pour yourself out for nothing and not fill you up. Well, I'm sorry, but people in your life have to be people who will replenish you, support you, love you, and recognize your birthright. Okay, that's all I have for tonight, ladies. Wonderful being with you again. And I have some wonderful interviews ready to come to you. And please check me out on YouTube. I'm getting my Patreon together. Hey, I'm not good at this stuff, right? I have to, and Ebony's a little slow with this stuff, okay? But love you. Be in peace. And if you have any questions or misgivings, please email me at ebonyphoenixlive@gmail.com. Peace, happy holidays. Take care of yourself. I want you to. You're worth it. Bye-bye.